Hi children, how are you? I hope you all are doing fine. So, welcome to my last session on control and coordination. So, till now what all we learnt, let us know about it. Chemical coordination in plants, tropism and phytohormones. Next we studied about endocrine glands, its different types and its importance. Next finally we are studying about nervous system, neurons, CNS, PNS, ANS. We have studied all those. Then what are we going to study today? So, the points that we are learning today is parts of the spinal cord, structure and function of the spinal cord, and most important of all, revision. I want you to make note of each and every point that I explained to you. Please children, be ready for that. Shall we start then? So, today we will study about the central nervous system. We already studied about the brain and its functions, different parts, etc. So, today we will be studying about the final part, that is the spinal cord. So, what is this spinal cord? Let us see. So, the spinal cord, first of all, it is protected by a columnar structure. It is a skeletal structure, you call it as vertebral column. You can see in the first picture the vertebral column. If you see the cross section, you can see in the center there is a hollow space where through which the spinal cord enters. So, we have a protective covering for the spinal cord. Now, let us study about the position of the spinal cord like this. Now, you know about the brain, you have studied. After the brain, a thin tubular structure that is continuing after the medulla oblongata, you call that as the spinal cord. It continues throughout your back up to the last portion, and it is surroundingly covered over and protected by vertebral column. Now, let us study about this. So, let us see once again the position how it is present. So, here you find in the first picture you see the vertebral column, and you can this picture you can see spinal cord, that is how it is positioned. It is protected. So, the nerves that arise from the spinal cord, you call them as spinal nerves. If you take a cross section of the spinal cord, this is how it appears. Okay. So, what happens is the spinal nerves will bring the impulses, then it is processed, and then finally you see that it is sent to the brain, message is sent to the brain. How actually the spinal cord will work, how actually the spinal nerves will work, let us see. So, this is the reflex action. A person is touching a hot object, immediately the message will go to the spinal cord. The spinal cord will immediately send the message to the hand muscles and bones in that, and it will tell him to take away the hand from the hot object. So, this action which takes place suddenly or automatically without even our knowledge, it is called as reflex action. If a person blows air to your eyes, suddenly somebody says, "Oof," what will you do? You will immediately close your eyes. Okay. That is one part of reflex action. Now, let us see what is reflex action. Please write down. It is an automatic or sudden response of the body to a stimulus. Okay. Now, how does this reflex action work? Let us see. Now, let us see, imagine a person is touching a hot cup of coffee. So, as soon as he touches a hot cup of coffee, a neuron will take the impulse through this spinal nerve to the central part, you call it a central canal. To that portion the message is sent. Next, another neuron which will relay it to next neuron. So, that is something like a relay station. Next, another neuron will take it to another body part away from the spinal cord. So, that is another portion. From there it goes to his hand muscles, that is the muscles present in the hand, muscles as well as the bones present here for him to lift away his hand from the coffee cup. You understood how all the path will go. Now, let us know how each and every part is involved and what are its names, etc. Okay. So, he is touching the hot object, he is touching it, that means a sense organ, skin is working. So, first part that gets stimulated or becomes alert, that is skin. So, that is the stimulus. So, usually the stimulus will be a sense organ, you call them as receptors. They receive impulses, okay? Sorry, they receive stimuli from the surrounding. So, first part is sense organs. So, next is, as soon as he touches that, the impulse will go from there to the spinal cord through one neuron called sensory neuron. Why it is called sensory neuron? Because it is coming from a sense organ, skin. Sense organ may be in eyes, nose, ear, tongue, skin, anything of the sort. So, it is receiving the impulse from this sense organ. So, it is called as sensory neuron. Next, it has to be transmitted to another neuron. So, next to that is the relay neuron. This relay neuron is nothing but it transfers one message from one place to another place, just like your relay, 400 meters running race or something like that. One person will run for 100 meters, he will hand over the baton to another person, the another person receives it. So, here the baton is like a relay, it is sent to the next person. Similarly, here the relay neuron will receive it. Next, from there it has to go to the muscle. So, that is called as motor neuron. Motor neuron should go to some effector. So, here the effector is hand, muscles and bones. So, that motor neuron, because it is going to a part where action is taking place, movement is taking place, he has to lift the hand. So, that is why it is called as motor neuron, and finally he lifts his hand. That means the muscles and the bones are helping him to take away. So, that is called the effector, where the action should be affected. So, it is usually muscles and bones. I hope you understood. The first, it is the receptor, next sensory neuron, next the relay neuron, next is the motor neuron, and finally the effector. So, totally 5 parts are involved in this reflex action. First is the receptor, second is the sensory neuron, third is the relay neuron, fourth is the motor neuron, and finally fifth one is the effector. I hope you understood. So, all these parts will immediately work, call it as reflex action. Isn't it great? And the path taken for this reflex action, like this, it has come from sensory neuron, relay neuron, then motor neuron. This path you call it as reflex arc. So, let us see once again how reflex action is taking place. Watch and enjoy. So, that is the Gnanavahi neuron or sensory neuron. Next one is Sambandhakalpisva Narakosha or relay neuron. Kriyavahi neuron is nothing but motor neuron. So, write down, children, what is reflex arc. The pathway taken by nerve impulses in a reflex action is called reflex arc. Please make note of it. Now, let us see the mechanism of reflex action. Please write down. When a sensory receptor is stimulated, signals pass from it along a sensory neuron to the spinal cord. Next, the messages travel of the spinal cord along a motor neuron to the effector organ, example a muscle or a gland or skeletal system, etc. Now, let us see how to draw this reflex arc. Sir is teaching you how to draw this. Let us see it.
Namaste, one and all. Let us learn how to draw neatly the spinal cord.
Okay children, you have learnt how to draw the diagram of reflex arc. Thank you very much sir for teaching the children. Now let us go to the next portion. I want you to see this video. I had already told you, you will see this video. Here the doctor is slightly hammering, you should not hammer forcefully, slightly hammering the leg, knee portion, but finally the bottom portion, that is the leg, is springing up. I had asked you the reason for this one. Thank you doctor and thank you sir who has cooperated for this experiment, for this activity. Next we will go to another one. Similarly the doctor is tapping at one portion, particular portion of the lady, and the hand is coming up, the palm portion is coming up. Today let us see the answer for this. So let us see the video here. The doctor is tapping lightly near the knee portion, the impulse is going to the muscles, and from the muscles it is going to the spinal cord, again it is coming to the same muscle, hence there is a jerky movement. So the same thing will happen here also, in the hand also, on the leg also. But one instruction to you children, it is done by the doctor. I do not want you to take a hammer and move around beating people's knee or the hand or anything like that. No, you are not supposed to do like that. Now let us come to another activity here. Here she is my colleague, I am telling her to do one activity. I am telling the madam to use both her hands, one hand in the clockwise direction, another hand in the anti-clockwise direction simultaneously. Is she successful? Observe. She is not able to do that. Okay. Another activity will be done by staff members of our school. Let us see what they are doing. They are doing two actions with different hands, different types of actions. Let us see whether they are able to do that. See here. So one hand is going up and down on the head, another hand on the stomach, circular motion. They are not able to do that. Why is it? That is because the right hand that is doing, that is able to do like that because the left part of the brain is sending the signals to the right part of the brain, and the left hand which is working, that will be done by right one, and the right hand one will be sent by the left one. When the right hand is doing some work, the left part of the brain is sending positive impulses, whereas the left part of the brain will send negative impulses, so that that part of work should be done effectively. Will these people be able to do those activities? They are not able to. But once you control and practice, then you can do both the activities, just like this when we do puja. That is mainly possible because we have practiced that and our brain is sending from both sides impulses simultaneously. So by practice you can come to perfection. I hope you enjoyed this activity. I want to do one more activity before doing the revision. Okay. Now, so here I have a pen and a cap. Now what I have to do is pen the cap, but condition is I have to close one eye of mine and do this. Let me try. I will close, I will keep the hand far, I will start doing like this. Am I able to succeed? No. You can do. I am not able to do. I should not do like this. From far I have to bring like this. So I am not able to do that because both the eyes have to send the impulses to the brain, both right and cerebral and left cerebral hemispheres, and it will show me the depth, the distance, etc. accurately. So when I close my eye, that distance and other things cannot be judged properly. I want you to try all those experiments and see the fun in this. So spinal cord has its own limitations. So the brain has lots of complex. What happened? Children, why did I look there? It's very simple. See, a sound came, my ears had to just see that. But what did I do? My neck, my head, everything turned that side. it was not necessary. Why? It is a reflex action. I turned my neck also, but why did I do that? Very simple. See, when this reflex action took place, my ears heard that, and immediately it went to the spinal cord, not to the brain. The spinal cord, it immediately sent the impulses to both my neck muscles as well as the head muscles and the eyes, everything. So, what happened? Suddenly I turned my neck. If it had gone to the brain or cerebrum, brain would have told, you are simply hearing the sound, you need not even turn your head, you can simply listen to the sound. So, like this is one among the explanation that I have given for this activity. Like this, there are so many other things. Children, I want you to explore all those. Science itself is wonderful. Okay, now we will come to the revision part of it. So, phototropism is the plants growing towards light. If they grow towards the stimulus, it is called as positive phototropism, whereas if they move away from the light, example roots, they will move away from the light, you call it as negative phototropism. So, you can understand that there are two types of tropism. One is if it is towards the stimulus, it is positive. If it is away from the stimulus, it is negative. Let us see other types of tropisms. If you look at here, the roots are growing towards the soil and also the roots are growing towards the water. So, if it is growing, plant roots growing towards water is called hydrotropism, and plant roots growing towards earth or gravity is called as geotropism. Geotropism is also called as gravitropism. The pollen tube is moving towards the ovary, towards the ovule. So, this is because of chemotropism. So, plants growing towards chemicals as response is called as chemotropism. Finally, for the sake of growth, you need phytohormones. So, write down children, they are chemicals which help to coordinate growth, development, flowering and response to the environment in plants. So, chemotropism, plants growing towards chemicals as response is called as chemotropism. Now, phytohormones are the chemicals which help in the growth of plants. So, they are chemicals which help to coordinate growth, development, flowering and response to the environment in plants. Phytohormones, they may either promote growth or they may inhibit the growth. Okay. I want you to write down control and coordination. The survival of an organism depends on integrated and coordinated function of organs. Nervous and endocrine system of an organism makes them work together for coordination. Next, you can see the endocrine glands. We have studied several endocrine glands. Let us see which are they. So, the first gland is the pituitary gland or the master gland. Next one is the thyroid gland, which is present in the neck region, and next one you can see triangular glands present on the kidney, you call them as adrenal glands. Next, the pituitary gland, it is having islets of Langerhans. So, pancreatic gland, and finally male and female have gonads, they are also the reproductive organs, and all these are endocrine glands. So, let us see each one of them slightly, briefly. So, hormones are the chemical substances secreted by the endocrine glands and transmitted by the blood to the tissues on which it has a specific effect. First one, thyroid gland will secrete thyroxine hormone, and it is secreted properly if iodine is present, and that is present in the salt. Next, write down, thyroxine regulates metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Next, most important gland, that is the pituitary gland or the master gland, it controls all the other activities. It is below the brain. Let us see what it does. It regulates growth and development of the body. It secretes growth hormone. Next we will see adrenal glands. They are present above the kidneys, triangular in shape, and they will produce a hormone called adrenaline. So it regulates blood pressure, heartbeat, carbohydrate metabolism, especially during emergencies. Next we can see another one, that is insulin produced by the pancreatic gland, and it reduces and regulates blood sugar level. Next we see male and female reproductive systems. In the male we find testis, it is an organ, it is an gonad, and female reproductive system you find the ovary. So the females, it will produce estrogens, which changes associated with puberty in females, whereas androgen associated with males produces testosterone. It involves in changes associated with puberty in males. Next you studied about the neuron, that is nervous system. So how the impulses, electrical impulses are transmitted, you can see in this video. So and you are seeing here synapse. So that is the active transmission taking place in the synapse. It is a beautiful video, you can observe that. And finally let us see how the impulses move through a neuron. Please observe. So first it starts from dendrite, cyton, axon, and finally nerve endings. So write down neuron or nerve cell. It is the structural and functional unit of nervous system, and a neuron is electrically excitable cells that function to process and transmit information, and this is how the synapse is present between two neurons and how the message is sent through chemical messengers. Understood that? Now next we will see about synapse. Please write down the point of contact between the terminal branches of axon of one neuron with the dendrite of another neuron is called as synapse. Next we will come to nervous system. They are of three types: central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and autonomous nervous system. So we also studied in the central nervous system you find brain and spinal cord. In the peripheral nervous system, the nerves that arise from the brain you call them as cranial nerves. The nerves that arise from the spinal cord you call them as spinal nerves, you call them as peripheral nervous system. Next we will study about autonomous nervous system, a pair of nervous system with sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves. They will send opposite signals. One will help to dilate the pupil, another will help it to constrict the pupil. Like this they will work. Next, please write down, brain has three major regions: forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. And what are the functions of this forebrain? In that forebrain you find cerebrum. So it is the thinking part of the brain. It controls the voluntary actions, stores information in the form of memory. It is the center associated with hunger. Not only that, it receives sensory impulses from sense organs. Next, functions of hypothalamus. Thalamus receives nerve impulses from many sense organs and sends to the cortex. Then hypothalamus regulates body temperature, water balance, appetite, and also the sleep. So this is the midbrain. It will act as the relay station. It connects forebrain with the hindbrain. Next, the hindbrain is made up of cerebellum, pons, and medulla oblongata. So cerebellum helps you to control your walking, erect posture, body balance, etc. So it maintains posture and balance of the body. Write down, it controls body movements. Next we will see about another part, that is the swollen part, which I am showing here. It is called as the pons. So it controls voluntary actions, regulation of respiration, mastication, and facial expressions. Next you can see another part, that is the medulla oblongata. It controls involuntary actions like breathing, heartbeat, movement of digestive tract such as swallowing, coughing, vomiting, etc. Next, it maintains blood pressure through secreting enzymes. Next, homework to you. I want you to draw a labeled diagram of reflex arc. It is important for examination point of view also. Name the parts in reflex action along with its functions. Next, differentiate between sensory and motor neurons. Name the center for reflex action. Next, what would happen if the center of reflex action is brain? So, next we will come to the quiz portion. Welcome to the quiz. The part of the brain that controls body balance and erect posture. So, cerebrum, cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. In my previous session I had given a clue for this also. Please remember and answer. Yes, the correct answer is cerebellum. Lum means leg, I had told you to remember. So, all connected to leg activities, body balance, etc. you can write. Next question. Iodine is required for the secretion of this hormone. Insulin, thyroxine, adrenaline, glucagon. Please think and answer. Okay, the answer is thyroxine. Now, here there is one more question. Here, sir is showing you a Parijata plant. You can see the plant branch is slightly bending towards the sunlight. Now, my question is, name the hormone which is helping it to bend towards the sun. So, the options are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid. So, the answer is actually the hormone named auxin will move away from the sun and it gets the cell elongated in the region. So, what happens? Automatically the branches will bend towards the sun. Okay, children, I am very grateful for you to listen to my class. I want you to study well, and many people have helped me to do so many activities like drawing this and also several activities like reflex action, etc. I thank all these people and I want you to study well. Okay, so bye bye, study well, see you all, thank you.